Just quite sad that
Very,
a
very
very
sad
promising life
indeed.
was just
Been
taken,
cut short. Yeah.
honestly. But we hope that the police will be able to unearth,
Unravel
the
it.
reason why this murder happened really. 36-year-old still had his future ahead of him. And away from that, well, marriage, motherhood, career, cultural and societal pressures are the challenges confronting today's woman. Nafisat Amadou Abdulmalik, in her book titled The Diary of a Muslimmah, that's a Muslimmah, talks about all of the struggles. Our rights correspondent Asma Awan, who was at the book launch, has this report for us.
There's been so much discussion about the struggles of womanhood. The typical 21st century woman is career-driven, but also the caretaker of her family. Balancing the two is such a struggle for the modern woman. These are the issues the book Diary of a Muslimah tries to find a balance. In Nigeria of today, economic pressures and gender discrimination have put the womanhood at a disadvantage. Women are here to learn how they can combine both domestic and professional obligations to arrive at a great career.
If I say having a career and having like a marriage and both of them thriving at the same time, it's difficult. You have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice. You cannot give 100% in all areas of your life. There's some times where you have to sacrifice career growth and at the for the benefit of the home, and there are sometimes you have to sacrifice anything at the home front for the benefit of your career.
Some of these things are rooted in tradition. Some of them, unfortunately, are also rooted in the misinterpretation of the scriptures. However, the good thing about today's world is that women are writing some of these narratives themselves and actually challenging the narratives. And so I think it's absolutely important that the interpretation of some of those narratives are done by women themselves.
The author believes women will do better both in family and career life if they plan their schedule well with support from the society.
Going for therapy does not necessarily mean one is going through an emotional abuse, actually. You know, when somebody has all of these things to juggle together, like I said, she has to be a mother, she has to be a wife, she has to be an employee, she has to be, an entrepreneur. And then she still has to find herself. So it takes a lot of, emotional, exertion. She would get tired at some point. She would get all of these things that are very, very tasking and demanding. And of course, sometimes she would break down and find a way back herself. And some days when she's unable to find a way back herself, she has to seek for for professional help.
Society puts pressure on women to be strong, putting aside their mental well-being. This has led many women into depression. That is why emotional intelligence and therapy is important for women to cope with society pressure. Asma Alwan, Arise News.
Okay, we're now joined by Nafisa Abdul Malik, the author of the book. Very warm welcome to Newsnight. Maybe I would allow Amaka to take the first salvo because this concerns marriage, motherhood,
just the challenges, that women face in Nigeria. It's one thing being a woman in the modern world and navigating it, but it's another thing being a Muslim woman, because I do know society expects so much, the culture expects so much from a Muslim. Let's talk about this book and the reason why you decided to put pen to paper and who you're trying to speak to with this book.
Thank you so much for that question. So Diary of a Muslimah is actually is a movement for me. It's not just a book. I keep saying that. This is because a lot of times as a Muslim woman, there's the conservative culture of the Islamic religion. There are certain topics that are not breached. You shouldn't talk about certain things. And the truth is that when you keep these things hidden, a lot of people who would learn from it are not able to access the information, and they go into a lot of challenges in life, just blinded. So when I started, when I got married, I had a lot of struggles. I wanted to have my career, I wanted to have kids, I wanted to have it all. And then I saw it written somewhere, you can't have it all at once. But I wanted to have it all at once, and so I tried, and at some point I started struggling, it's either the marriage or maybe having kids or has to like give up something. But on the outside, you know, it looked good. People who saw me would be like, she's doing so well, she doesn't have any issues. So I decided to journal certain challenges that I was having at the time, and that's how Diary of a Muslimah came about. So it doesn't look all rosy. There are actually challenges that you might not be aware of, especially when it comes to child, you know, bearing, raising the kids, and having your career, or even, you know, starting a business at the same time.
The socio-cultural challenges are usually enormous, you know,
Sure.
particularly for the Muslim woman, like you've tried to enumerate here. Tell us, how can these challenges be surmounted in today's modernity?
I believe that, like at the launch today, I had very important personalities present who talked about the topic. We had a panel discussion, and one of the things that really struck me was that we have very little opportunities to have these conversations. When we have more of these conversations in safe spaces, it would help us to be able to surmount the challenges, because a lot of times we have Muslim women who are willing to learn. They want to know, but they don't have the appropriate space or the structures that would enable them to learn. So if we have safe spaces where we can educate Muslim women and women in general, not just Muslim women, but women in general, that irrespective of your religion, your culture, you can actually achieve goals that you've set. I think it will actually help a lot of the gender bias that we see in a lot of places, whether in the workplace, at home, and you know, society at large.
Really, and you know, beyond being a Muslim woman, religion, be you a Christian or whatever it is that you believe in the modern day Nigeria, there's so much expectation from the woman. You're expected to be a mother, be a career woman, and still be a wife. And a lot of the time we see women fall along the road path because probably they got influenced by maybe the wrong person. So this safe space that you spoke about, how can we go about getting this safe space beyond being a Muslim, just generally for women to be able to learn from other women who've probably walked the path, so that way we're not making the mistakes that they probably must have?
Well, we actually have structures, non-governmental organizations that have these gender advocacy initiatives going on. A lot of them are actually centered on providing safe spaces for women to learn. And then there are people like us who share our stories, and our stories inspire some other persons to want to do more and be more. And I believe that there is no one fits all answer to this particular question. It could be from the safe spaces they learn. It could be from, you know, women around them that who are also doing the things that they want to do. And it could be from even their own circles, a supportive family, a supportive husband, parents who actually want to see their own do well. So
I like this book. From what I've seen and what you've spoken about, you talked about even some forbidden topics, really.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about.
What are these topics that are really forbidden?
Well, there are a number of topics. The book covers a number of topics. It talks about religion, it talks about therapy, which is not very widely spoken about. It talks about motherhood, parenting, love, marriage, and, you know, the struggles that come with having like a particular kind of relationship with your husband, especially when you're trying to fit into all these other roles.
And you didn't look at the recurring issue of, you know, the VVF phenomenon that is prevalent in the North because of early child marriages?
Well, the book Diary of a Muslimah doesn't deal with VVF per se, but it touches on particular topics that talks about, you know, childbirth, because a chapter in the book actually talks about Salma preparing to give birth, and she was in the hospital setting, and the doctors who were supposed to attend to her. So yes, childbirth is discussed, but not in the, you know, the spectrum of VVF.
Right. So the book, you know, it's available now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so go pick it up. I like it a lot. Thank you so much for actually putting pen to paper and even joining us tonight on the program. Now I'm excited. The next book I need to pick up, really.